Okay, thank you everyone for staying here. Today we have a very special, different webinar for Citizen Science. And it's just because today I would like to show you something that I was doing the former Sunday. I have some time and a lot of curiosity. I think one of the things that make researchers, scientists, really, in our soul is curiosity. Like kids are curious, scientists, we are curious. So I was curious on Sunday. This curiosity started because there are many different terms that we use in science related with citizen science, but there is also participatory research, participatory science. But which is the difference between them? So there is methodology that we call, initially it was called bibliometrics. Now we call something like Scientometric, but it make even harder for me to pronounce. But the idea is that, in general terms, that we go to databases, all the papers, the books, everything that is published by scientists. Nowadays, we have some worldwide databases, and they are very well structured with the idea that we can find almost all the documents that we publish as a scientist. So this is why we call bibliometric or scientometric, is that the measure of, if we have a question, for example, how many papers are about citizen science? So we can go and to these databases, and we can know how many papers on who was writing one paper or another, or which countries or which institutions. There are many questions that we can solve with this scientometrics. So I did this exercise with with one database that is Scopus, and with a special tool that I really like that is called the Tree of Science. So what I'm gonna show you will be my results. But first of that, I would like to show you what is that. So this is Scopus. For us, we are, the full-time researchers. We know quite very well the Scopus. The Scopus is a property of one of the biggest publishers on the world that is called Elsevier. Is this logo here, and it's a database. Like Google. No one is using Google anymore. Now we are using AI like Perplexity, Mistral, any of that. But it's just like you come here and you can search documents based in keywords. So here we can search in many different ways, but the most common is that we will look this keyword in the article title, in the abstract, and the keywords. So let's do it. Let's do an example. Because today we have here Caitlin and Christine. We're gonna search, for example, beach flora. How many documents we have about beach flora? We go to search, and now the results. This is real time. I like to take risk, and this is a high risk. I think not many. Okay, searching, and whoa, only 6 documents. We have millions of papers around the world about many different topics, and only 6 that they include beach flora. So maybe if we change, now this exactly this term, but if we change here and we include and the search will be different, because now it's not just beach flora, will be beach and flora. Any paper that include in the title, abstract, or keywords beach, or include flora, will be there. So let's do it again. And now we have 102 documents. Wow, this is quite better. There are not too many, but quite better. So if we have, this is not a webinar about Scopus, it's just a webinar about Scientometrics. So I won't explain everything here. I just want to show you how to export this information. We can go here, we go to CSV. This is a kind of file similar to Excel, but is just a different form because it's easier for database. CSV means comma. Oh, now I don't. Okay, the files that are divided by commas. I don't remember exactly what is CSV, but I will say that I want to download these 502 documents, but it's not that I will download the document. I'm just downloading the bibliographical information, the citation information, who are the authors, the document title, the GR, all this information that will be in a file. So I will come here, I will export this CSV, and once I have this document, this CSV file, I can do many, many things. So I will save here, beach and flora. Okay, Scopus, and I will include here the day, just to remember. Okay. Now that I have this information, say, okay, that is nice, but what can I do with that? If you are Madhulika, that she's a big expert in scientometry, you can do, magic, really. But I'm not really an expert in scientometry, but I can manage, the base for that. And now I think after this webinar, you can manage also part of this information. Okay, now here Robin say that in the chat that okay, yeah, that the CSV format files can be easily converted to Excel file. Yeah, you can open it, in Excel. But okay, this is a Scopus, but also this is the tree of science. And tree of science, I really like it because it's a very simple metaphor about science and scientometrics. And it's also very nice because now it's animated. So, plant your seeds. Okay, I want to plant my seeds. So what I can do now is that I can come here, go to our document, here, beach and flora Scopus. I say, okay. Now I'm planting, yeah, literally, I'm planting this bibliographic information. So these 102 articles, they all together, they have 20,263 citations. It means that when we have, papers, books, we have these reference. So each of these reference is one citation. So now we have a cloud, we have a network of 21,000 different nodes. So it's a lot of information, but not enough for our tree of science. So now we are sowing our seeds. So now we are, and I think this is perfect. We are just starting spring. Here in Little Dover is a lot of wind, but now we have sun. And now we have our tree. Look. Oh, what? This is quite strange tree. How does it work? We have these 102 papers or documents. So the algorithm behind the tree of science shows 20 articles in the roots. Roots means if you want to know a little more about that in the future, you can go here, your tree explain. So it will explain you everything, but I don't want to use our time on that because you can go later. But in a few words, roots are the first papers that was published with these keywords. We call seminal papers. The first people that were speaking about that. These are the root papers. We have the trunk papers or trunk documents. And in this case, it's quite strange. There are only 3 of them. You can see there are only 3. This is not normal. Normally there are at least 20, but maybe, this is a not very mature, consolidated network of research topic. But trunk means these papers that are, the most important, because not to be the first is to be the most important. But the most important are these papers that are connected. How it works, the algorithm works in the back end is that it crosses the different reference from one, who I quote and who quote me, if I have a paper. So the roots are the paper that were quoted but most papers, most of the other documents. The trunks are the papers that they were quote, but many people, and they quote another people, many citations. We can say in citation and out citations. And leaves are these new papers that were published, recently, and they define, what is the new topics, and the branches. We have leaves and branches as a tree, so each branch means an area, a sub area, in beach and flora, these will be some areas. So this is the tree, this is just if it's bigger, this circle means that this most important, it's more important than this one that are a small one. And as I told you, this is, I don't know, here, Caitlin and Christine, you are the botanist. You can say what kind of plant looks like, maybe a strawberry, I don't know. But it's quite strange tree. I will show you other trees later. And here we have all their papers, so we can go there to the reference and know which are these papers. Here we have the 3 papers in the trunk, but what is nice is that we have here the keywords that are in the trunk. So the people that is publishing papers related with beach flora, they are normally these papers they have in the keywords coastal vegetation, endangered species, species richness, species area relationship. Italy, well, look, Christina and Kathleen, maybe we need to go to Italy because there are many researchers there. We would like to meet them, but let's go to Italy. I love Italy, so why not to go there? And the branches, we have 3 subtopics. One, the branch 1, for example, is environmental management, species richness, biogeography, trajectory model, oil spill. The second branch is about paleoecology, stratigraphy, limestone. The first one was more about ecology, I think. Let's check again. Environmental management, and ecology. This second one is more about geology, the third one is about epidemiology, human ecology, microorganisms. So as you can see, it's quite interesting. It's very easy. I just did in 10 minutes. The leaves, sand geomorphology. We are researching in our network in ESCOM geomorphology. This is beach profiles are part of geomorphology. So I think we are here in the leaves. But I wanted to show you that in real time, because here is my presentation for today. I did the same, but I crossed these 4 words in different ways. I asked about participatory research, about participatory science, and about citizen science, because they sound like the same thing, but are they the same thing? Okay, this is why we have Scientometrics. So these are the results from Scopus. As you can see, a lot of information and a lot of time explaining my Sunday, just organizing in this PowerPoint file. I think I use more time doing the design in the PowerPoint than the research with Scopus and the Tree of Science. But some results that we have here, but this is very preliminary, but we are working very hard. We're with Madulika and with Eva, and also a colleague in Argentina, in Luján, and she's, a big expert in citizen science. We are working with this information. But something that we can see is that first we have 18,000, almost 19,000 documents that include participatory research in the keywords. There are many, many, many documents about participatory research. The first paper was, or the first document in this database was in 1979. And of course, to this year, 2025. And I don't want, to explain you all of that because there is a lot of information, but some highlights. Which are the areas, the subject areas that normally are using these keywords? Medicine, 9,000 of these, almost half of these documents were related with medicine. 7,000 related with social science, psychology, nursing, environmental science, but environmental science is less than 10%. So we can say now, we can, start concluding this is what we do with research. Science is just about the method. We have a method. It's like we go to Scopus, we download, we upload to the tree of science, and we have results. This is science at the end. It's not as complex as sometimes it looks. There are very complex science, but not all science need to be, complex. So this is some kind of results, preliminary results that we have. So maybe we can conclude that participatory research is a keyword that is mainly used in, health science. Health sciences like medicine, psychology, nursing. Okay, language, English, almost all of these documents are in English, but it's not because there are not many people publishing about that in other languages. It's because most of these databases, they index, this is another conversation, maybe a webinar next year, not this year, but about how the documents are indexed. But the thing is that most of these indexation companies or publisher, but they are companies. The most important company, the most important publisher is Clarivate. They are a risk fund, they invest money and they're investing money in science. Okay, another conversation someday, maybe with some coffee. But the thing is that if we see here the language, it's not really a result that we can say, okay, no, it's because the people in Spanish, French, and Portuguese, they are not interested to publish. It's just because most of these documents are in English, because even I speak Spanish, if I want to publish in a good journal, in the sense of it has a high impact in this database, this journal most probably will be in English. But there are another information that is useful. For example, the country in the United States are half of these documents, So there in the South, they are publishing half of the documents related with participatory research. And the second one is the United Kingdom, but it's 9,000 against 2,000, so it's not really, it's 4 times more in the United Kingdom. But third one is Canada, what's great. I was so glad we discovered that. Australia and Germany. But if we go to the right side, to the affiliation, was quite surprised for me that the institution that had more papers, more documents published in participatory research was the University of Toronto. Even 9,000 of these papers were published in the US. The institution that is publishing more papers in participatory research was University of Toronto. Okay, but what about participatory science? It looks very similar. This dashboard is the same, but we are just changing from participatory research to participatory science. There's some difference. The year is the same. 1979 was the first paper, but here we can see that it's quite different, the pattern. I will go back just that you can compare. But the big difference is that the number of paper, 319, 300 against 19,000. It's like this is, around I think 1.5%. It's less than 2% of the papers in the participatory research. They are in participatory science. So it means that there, were more papers about beach and flora that we were just, asking about that to Scopus. So it means that participatory science is not really a consolidated term, that most of the scientific community is using. However, we can do these exercises, social science, environmental science, but also agriculture, also arts and humanities, even computer science. So it looks like, everyone is using participatory science with not really a focus. What more we can see here? Okay, United States, but, France is, 3 times less. United Kingdom, Germany, Canada. Normally, the English-speaking countries will be here also because it's easier when you speak English to publish in English. When you speak Spanish, French, German, Russian, Japanese, I don't know, Arab will be quite more difficult. I think for people that they don't have Latin alphabet will be even harder. So, these results, I think, not really interesting because this is not a consolidated term, but citizen science, we are a network of citizen science. So this is maybe the most important for us. Good news. I think we have good news. First, we have 12,000 papers. So citizen science is not a new topic anymore. There are many, many, many people around the world publishing papers about that. But this is a indicator of many people is researching on this topic. Another surprise is the first paper, if you remember before, was 1979 in participatory research, and here is 1971. So what's first in science? This is, I really like to be a scientist in the sense that I can say, now I have evidence, I know my perception, go to Scopus, argue to them, not to me, because the first paper that mentioned citizen science is from 1971. I download this paper because I was so curious about, as I told you, I was having fun this Sunday with that. Also, if we check the pattern is a little steady than the participatory research. It means that it is having more attention recently. If we see about the subject areas, we have agricultural and biological science. Here, I think is the third part of these papers, 4,000 and 12,000, is the third part, 35% more or less, are agricultural and biological sciences. But almost the same number is environmental science. And biological sciences and environmental science, are not so far one to another. And the third one is social sciences, but so a big jump, not really big, but a jump in 2500 paper. Computer science, what is interesting now that we are trying to enter to AI with our network. I think these are good news for us. And earth and planetary sciences that are very close to environmental sciences and to biological sciences. So it looks like citizen science is the right keyword if we are doing citizen science related with the ocean and the coast and the climate, as we are doing in ESCOM. So I think we are, maybe by chance, but we choose the right term. If we check here about the countries, United States has 4,000, but you can see it's not this big difference as we had in participatory research. Half of them was from the US. Now it's just the third part from the US. And closer is the United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, and Italy. I think this is a message that I need to go to Italy. I will start, packing my bag and go to Sicily. The best food that I ever tried was in Sicily. So please, Kathleen and Christine, let's start learning Italian. We need to go there. And what thing the more is interesting here, I think, I spoke more or less the most important things. But now, why not to see what is the difference? Not again in Scopus, that this is not really nice to analyze. It's not. Have some lack of design. I'm not a designer, so it's not my fault at the end. But why not to see in a very nice design? So here we have our 3 trees, and look, this look more than a tree. Than this, I don't know. It's like a shroom. I don't know how to pronounce. Caitlin, later you will please tell me, but it could be like a herb. I don't know. This strange beach and flora tree, but here we have quite more normal trees. I just changed the size just to show the number of papers, because I analyze with 4,000 documents, not with the 18,000 and with the 12,000, because this file that with 18,000 documents in Scopus was 200 megabytes. It was so big. It were millions of nodes in this network. So we need another computer to do these calculations. We don't have this calculation capacity to do that, and not there in the tree of science. So I reduced to the 4,000 more relevant documents. And when I'm speaking about the more relevant, this is something I would like to show you, is that here in Scopus, we can organize, like when you are in an e-commerce, that please organize by price, organize by, by recommendations. We can do almost the same here in Scopus. So we can organize for date, the newest to the oldest, by the highest citation, the lowest, but also the relevance. Relevance is those documents in this 102, these documents that are closer to my two keywords. So if I organize here, we will see different results. Look, 1989, that is quite nice. 1989 is the most relevant, paper related with our keywords. So I did exactly that. So I was not here. I extract the 4,000 most relevant documents, and including the tree of science, and I obtained these trees. So let's, now that I have my small own forest of papers, I would like to show you these trees. So the first tree, is the participatory research. The seminal papers are from 1998, 2004, and 2006. Not really all papers, but more interesting are the keywords. Community-based participatory research. That's something that, I'm still asking Madhulika to explain me how to interpret that, because is that this keyword is the same that the original keyword, participatory research. But okay. But other keywords are human and humans, This is important for Eva, and Kathleen, Christine, that we're going to be publishing paper together. Remember that it's not the same to include in the keywords human than humans. It's not the same, the singular than the plural. And here we can see that some researchers including singular and other in plural, and now looks like two different keywords. Okay, health, equity, article. I don't know why, article in a keyword, but this is another conversation. And branches were disaster, the first branch about participatory research. There are people publishing papers related with disaster, asbestos, human studies, rural population, rural nursing theory. So these are, a tribe of researchers there. Another tribe, the second tribe, is about the community-based participatory research. Middle age, adult, participatory research, is like, the same keyword almost, and male. And this was very interesting for me. I know, for an anthropologist or sociologist, but for me it was quite interesting that there is one branch that one of the keywords is male, and the third branch, one of the keywords is female. It looks like some separation. Why? I love that. I think that all of us, we are the same, and why we have, this separation, that maybe different kind of studies. It means gender studies related with participatory research. Wow, so interesting. Yes, and you have your hand raised.
I had a question, Camilo.
Yeah.
All this research, is this all generated by AI?
No, okay. The first thing is that there is not many AI, behind all of that I'm showing to you. But there are two kind of research here. This Scientometrics is the research about the research. So are you asking me about my research or the research that is published?
I'm just asking you about this type of research that you're showing us. Would this be under an AI platform, say the Tree of Science?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Tree of Science is some kind of AI, but it's not the same AI like ChatGPT, for example. These are called the large language models. This is another kind of AI that is more related with, they call neural networks. or also there are some kind of, it's an algorithm that cross, because it need to do, I think millions of calculations. So yes, it's an AI behind the tree of science, but it's not related with, with language or with anything. It's just that it take this data and organize this data and draw this tree.
Okay. And when it's talking about like the branches, number 1, 2, and 3, so is that the importance that your keywords
Yeah.
that would have been brought out? Okay.
Yeah, no, and this is great, great comment, the great questions, and because it's exactly like that. When we are starting, imagine, for example, Eva, we don't know yet, I think it's too soon, but if someday Eva decide to do a PhD, she need to choose a topic. And this is a nice way to decide which topic to study, because you say, I'm interested in a beach and flora. So you go there and now you have branches. These branches are the topics that are a mature scientific community, So it means that you say, okay, what the people is researching about these keywords. So now you have some topics, these keywords mean at the same time topics. So that's exactly as you ask. It's exactly like that. And now I'm happy that I think I can transfer you all this knowledge to you. So I'm very happy, and thank you, Anne, for your question, because it validated that that I can transfer this information in the right way. So just continue with branches. So look at this, as I told you, the second one is based, different things, middle age, adult males, but the third one is about female, community-based participatory research, humans and human. So maybe I can say that the third one is just about females, but it's great that we have a lot of people researching the participatory research about women. I think it's nice, because you are interested in these gender topics. Now you know that there is a community researching that with this method, with the participatory research. But okay, let's continue. If we go to our very small tree, I was very generous with this size because 300 documents, is just like a seed, not really a tree. But okay, like my strawberry in my jar, yeah, after winter, it's very, very small. So, but just study, just analyze what's happening with participatory science. So keywords, okay, the first paper, you can see here the root, 2009, 2012, 2010. So, these seminal papers are not quite, it confirmed our idea that this participatory science is not very popular topic and that it's not very old topic, it's quite, there's these seminal papers, they are not, the last one was in 1998, so all this is 2009 only. But which are the keywords? Citizen science, what is quite interesting, citizen science and participatory science. So it looks like we are still confused about what is citizen science, what is participatory science, because if we include both of them, it means that, it's like, okay, if I don't know which is the number of the lotto, I will buy all the tickets. So I will be, for sure, I will win. Biodiversity, what's interesting, water quality and education. But this is because it's very, very small quantity of documents. So it's a bias, a big bias. About the keywords, just very quick, citizen science, coastal socio-ecological system, and global change and bears. This is interesting because we are researching coastal social ecological system. So interesting, but the third branch is quite similar with citizen science, but public health, health equity, artificial intelligence, community-based participatory research. It looks like everything, like a collage. And branch 3 is biodiversity, participatory approach, France, typology. But as I told you before, it's just because this is very, very small tree. It's just a very, very, like my plants now in here that I planted 2 weeks ago. And now we have our nice citizen science tree. And this is the last slide just to show you about our topic. So the first seminal paper, is the 1995. even older than the participatory research. There's another one about from 2012, 2008. Keywords, good news for us. In the trunk, remember, the trunk means the papers and the keywords in this case that are included in most of these other documents. And climate change, biodiversity, ecology. It's very close to ESCOM because we are researching here. I would love to have here, coastal will be nice, but no, not in the trunk. But if we go here to branches, we have the first branch is about statistical reasoning, nature of science, scientific reasoning, and educational technology. It means that the first branch is the tribe of researchers that they are studying normally we call the philosophy of science, the people that are researching what is science, what is the nature of science, how we, that is twice the word reasoning, statistical reasoning, scientific reasoning, these people is researching how we understand science in general terms. Branch 2, and I was so happy with the results because it said post-digital, but it said artificial intelligence, just as your question, and data, citizen humanities. So there are many people in the world researching how citizen science is related with post-digital wars, with artificial intelligence, with citizen humanities. So it's nice because now because I'm big fan of artificial intelligence because we can do many good things like these trees as you asked, and but also because it means that if we are doing right our job as a scientist, we can capture the best of artificial intelligence in citizen science. I think it's a huge opportunity. And the third branch about industrial plants, environmental permits, trophy animals. I don't know yet what is trophy animals. Later, maybe Christine or Caitlin, you are the biologist. Eva, you're also biologist. You know exactly what means trophy animal. But it was quite strange, for me, this branch 3, because, industrial plants and environmental permits sounds like lawyers, but trophy animal, anyway. And the leaves are also good news for us because the leaves means the frontier, we are in the edge of the research related with citizen science. We have here environmental monitoring, human, article that I say article is not really a keyword, but okay, and sustainability. So again, we are here in the trunk and we're here in the leaves. And we also are a little bit in one of these branches. So I think we are in the right path. This is just my perception with this research, but great. So this was about my presentation. I just want to read the chat. So Lynn proposed a baobab, but not the first one, Lynn or Jess.
I proposed a baobab for that first tree, your experimental tree that looked more like a stump.
Okay.
So I imagined a baobab through it, but it was creativity there.
Yeah, no, and it's great. So you say this one will be the baobab?
Oh no, I think that the following one, sorry.
Yeah, because okay, yeah, I'm just
Anyway,
curious,
one
because
of them was the
one of
one you
them,
tested with and didn't really work out at the beach flora, I think, like.
yeah, the beach flora, yeah, no, that baobab is one of my favorite trees. I have never seen one of them, but it's in the Little Prince, so I love to know baobabs. Okay, Caitlin say that yeah, the baobab, yeah, is supporting you. Okay, good. Uh, okay, Caitlin is speaking her bags, great. And Christine is speaking. Okay, I speak Italian, Christine. So when you want, we can just start speaking in Italian. So we need to prepare for Sicily. And now Caitlin said it looks more like a bush. Bush. How do you pronounce? I always having trouble
Bush.
pronouncing Bush. Bush. Yeah. Robin said that hopefully this kind of AI is not prone to hallucinations. No, this is one of the advantage, because hallucinations, okay, maybe could be some very, very small level of a hallucination with this kind of neural networks, but they are a lot less than with the large language models like ChatGPT. There are many, Gemini and DeepSeek, there are many of them. But these hallucinations are mainly because they have, too much information, too much. So, and they were trained to be very, very, very friendly, because they are with clients and they have this idea of marketing that the client has always the reason. So if they did something bad, we say, no, but this was not the thing that I was looking for. Say, oh, so sorry, my mistake. And sometimes I was doing, this is a real story, I was doing some research about beaches and the answer was wrong. And I say, why you give me this answer? Say, I'm sorry, I just invented. Say, you should be ashamed, that you just invented. I was giving my confidence in you. So from this date to today, I don't have confidence in AI. I always check. Okay, good. Perfect. So here Caitlin said hunter for a sport, maybe. Yeah. This is my guess that these trophy animals that are hunted for sport, maybe, but I don't like this kind of sport, but some people like, so we need to respect everyone. So okay, this was I think this was everything that I wanted to show you. Yeah. So I don't know if you have another comment. You want I was just stop sharing the screen to see your faces. If you want to add anything, I don't know, maybe Madhulika, that you are the expert, or Eva, anyone, Leon, if you have any comment, question, Robin. Madhulika, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you are mute.
I think Robin should go ahead. Yeah, please, Robin.
Oh, no, I was just going to note that I don't know if you saw my note that Christine had some troubles earlier, tech problems. I sent them a chat message, so they might want a chance to introduce themselves.
Yeah, okay. No, thank you, Robin. Yeah, no, and now that you mentioned, I will introduce to you Christine. Next time we will try that she can have the her camera. But Christine, as I told you, is also marine biology student that is working with Kathleen and another student that is called Sophia. Sophia has an exam tomorrow, so she sent me a message say that sorry I cannot be there, but she will be studying, and I think she's doing right to be a study for tomorrow's exam. But these three marine biologists are our beach flora team, and they are doing, amazing work. So you will meet them in June. We will be all together there on the beach, and just, with our PlanNet app, try to identify and our pocket guide. So next time, hopefully you can see Christine and also her. So now, Madhulika.
Yeah, it's thank you, Camilo. It's a really wonderful presentations, and I'm also a learner. A lot of things need to be learned. A lot of things I have learned now. I'm all still learning, so I feel that there is always a room for learning. Just a quick observations. I think there is the one thing regarding the screening of the paper. I can understand the limitation of that tree of science. So, what the parameter you have used for the relevance, I think there may be a lot of parameters. So, in Scientometrics, generally, if we want to screen the paper, we go for a highly cited paper.
Okay.
Because the highly cited paper means the paper which is research community read and cited in their own paper. So maybe we can think about this thing, and based on that one, we can come up with a 4,000 paper, or we can say there is a lot of flexibility. suppose we do have a plethora of 20,000 people, so either we can go for top 1% cited paper or top 5% or top 10%. In this way, it is the another way which I think we may think of later on, where we can identify, okay, 4,000 papers, so it will be approximately the top 25% of
Yeah.
top 20% or 25%, right? My
Yeah, no.
mathematics is not so good. So you may think about in that line. Second thing is like Scientometric or either the tree of science, they are a wonderful tool, but somehow in each and every this tool or bibliographic data set we prepare from these databases, some kind of cleaning is always required. So maybe there's some kind of words we may from among our discussion we can remove some of the word like articles or like that one. And like and you really raised a very good interesting point that the keywords plurality and the singularity is always there. So while we are cleaning our data, because it's in the Excel sheet, we can convert all the humans in a human or human in a humans, like interchangeably, so that it can be treated as a one common term, key word. That's right now I can see. Just the thing that we may, I don't think so this is a platform, but we may later on once we talk among our other discussion in other platform Quebec, then we may think about to little bit revise it or like that.
Yeah,
If-
yeah, no, and
like-
I really appreciate, your comment.
Yeah.
When someone is an expert, just need, one comment to know that you are an expert, so it was
I'm
exactly
not-
my mistake, that I made relevance.
I'm not expert.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
just
at least
I'm not.
at least less
Right.
expert than me. Okay, you are not expert, neither I, but you are less expert than me. So, just
And
to, yeah,
do you have any plan to let me allow to join your this plant collection team when you are planning to go there in June?
yeah, I will let you know. Yeah, I will let you know. Yeah, I know that it's quite common, that when you say that you are working on the beach, the people say, "Oh, I would like to work with you. Can I?"
Yes,
So,
I
yeah, sure.
really love to be join your team if it is possible, because it's collection of the, I think, all the plants and the flora and fauna. It
Yeah,
would be interesting to see that the biodiversity of our beach. Yeah,
yeah, great.
especially, yeah. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
great. No, and thank you for coming. And just to explain a little bit about this comment from Madhulika, that relevance versus quotations, that of course it's supposed that the most relevant in the sense of this network is that if my paper is not always like that, I have a big critic of that, but it's supposed that if most people is quoting my paper is because I'm saying something that is very, important for others. It doesn't happen exactly like that. I have my critics. I also have a paper in which we discovered that someone was quoting someone with a mistake, but the other was quoting this same because the other quote. So now some paper is very famous and it has a big, mistake. But was just because one quote start quoting the other and the other and the other. So you are increasing this mistake. But yes, most of the cases, if the paper with more quotation is because it's more relevant for the community, scientific community. And now I think this is also good news. I think I'm too optimistic sometimes, but there are something signs just to explain you, especially to Robin, Leon, and Stuart, that you are the full-time in this scientific work, that they are called that, normally we cannot show any of our results if we want to publish, because sometimes happen that they say that this information, this result were already published. We're in a webinar that is on Rumble. That in Rumble there are 3 people, we 3, no one, but they say no, this was already published. So now it's a good news because now we're gonna change the tree to include the quotation, and this was a different research. So I think this is good news for us. Great, Robin, you have your. and right.
Yeah, I was just curious about how do we get access to something like Scopus? I was looking a bit online, and it's clearly a subscription and it's intended for
Yeah, yeah,
academics. I will note the Tree of Science is a separate
yeah.
website, and it does have a basic free access model. But what can you say about Scopus, and if that's something that any of us would ever have access to?
Yeah, I just gonna share my screen just for a little, yeah, because I think this is a very important issue to show you. Just give me a second because this bar is always getting me crazy. But yes, sorry, I just want to hide these controls. Okay. As I told you before, Scopus is part of this huge publisher. They're making money of science. So what is happening is that if you are not part of an institution, here you can log in with an institution. And for example, within Dalhousie, we don't have this subscription, only for a small part of papers, just in some topics, but we don't have, because this is a subscription costs to universities millions of dollars. There are universities that they pay really 10, 40 millions of dollars per year to have with the idea that their community members, they can be access to these databases. So it costs a lot. And if you are in the individual, you can have your own account. But for example, in my case, I have that because I am reviewer of some of the Elsevier journals. So this is why I have my account here, because I have my author profile. But this is quite restrictive because, this idea that science is just for, not for everyone. And now with Citizen Science, we are just go against this wall, but we are still in this. I don't like to use, I'm a pacifist, so we are not in a war against this war. We are just trying to conquer, with love, this war. But in any case, we will be over the wall someday. But now this is one barrier. Totally different with the Tree of Science. I would like to give you the short story about the Tree of Science. You go here, these are the papers that were published, describing the Citizen Science. But if you start reading the last names, they are quite strange, Sebastián Robledo, Luis Valencia, Marta Zuluaga, and here is on Echeverry, Osorio Zuluaga. All of them, they are Colombians. I knew this guy, Sebastián Robledo. He did his PhD in the Tree of Science. Tree of Science is the result of his PhD 10 years ago. It was just his project. And later they discovered that this platform was working very nice. So they continue developing during 10 years. Now they have something that is called Core of Science, that is a company. But because they're doing that now for, and they continue developing, here there is a basic and it's a pro. But if you go here, Robin, and say buy now, read this for free. You don't need to pay this 10 per month. They are just, testing the interest of the people for paying that. But you can use the whole Tree of Science, just for free. Lynn.
For the first part about the Scopus and its limited access, is there a way to only look at abstracts rather than the whole papers, and then you can access them from, those even Google Scholar, or there's a lot more databases that have abstract information? Would that work?
Yeah, there are other databases, Google Scholar, but now my computer is in Spanish, sorry. But Google Scholar, just scholar.google.com, you can find, a lot of them. But the big difference between Google Scholar and Scopus is that Google Scholar is not an indexed database. It means that they don't do a very rigorous analysis of these papers. So you can just upload. If we go to my profile, here, this is my profile. And here there are some papers. Here you can see in the Google Scholar how many quotes and in which year was published this document. But you can include any document, you can say here, just add some document, and maybe it's not really a paper, but you can include it. So this is the big difference, but most of the documents, maybe we can go here, go to, well, long title, but okay, this is about Quebec and Ontario. Oh, look, okay, Kathleen and Christine, more good news. One of the seminal papers are here from Canada.
It's in Naturaliste Canadien. I think it's gonna be in French.
Yeah, most probably. Good that we have Eva in this case.
Oh yeah.
But if I come here and no, this is for I think I need to come here, and looking for this document. Okay, here is the document, but it's not we don't have access to the document, but it's but we can know which is the no, here is the document, and we can go to related papers.
But so is there like an option, another database that has option to just get abstract with indices, but not like the full access to the paper so that people can play around?
There is a network that I think they try, to have more open science that is called ResearchGate. Anyone can create an account, and you can here upload the documents. And also, okay, sorry, I'm not verified yet, but I promise I am, how do you say? Okay. But here they are, it's like this is the social network of researchers. So here you highlight your world, and there, this is my friend Severin Sherisky. We have many papers together. He just published a new paper about COVID-19. And Luana, like a social network, but also you can search for people or journal, etc. Let's try. I think this is maybe too old to be there. But okay, abundance and biodiversity of mollusca. Yeah, but just try with this one. If we come here, we can download the paper. But it depends of the authors, because we can, when we upload, because we need to upload but by ourselves these papers, we give the option to be, open download, the open download, or just for request, or not a chance. And it is happened because these publishers like Elsevier, I think here is Elsevier, and you can see here, when I publish a paper, I don't have the rights to share my paper and to publish my paper in anywhere, anywhere during, depending of the journal, could be 2, 3, 4 years. So during 4 years, I'm not allowed to put my paper in any website or in any public space, because they have the rights on my paper. Just after this time, 2, 3, 4 years, we can share this paper. But still they will be requesting, we go, this is 1995, now this 2024, we go to this paper, just to give you an example, and if we want to have this paper, most of the time we need to pay, and we need to pay $25, $40 just for download a PDF, and also we cannot share our paper. There are a lot of debate about that in the scientific world, but we have ResearchGate, in which the authors, we upload, and after this period, we can share the paper here. So many papers we can download just here, ResearchGate. This is the gate, ready. Yeah, okay. Any other question? Any other thing that you would like to?
I think I'll ask again my question. So there's not an option to get like a table like this without full access to
No.
Elsevier, like from something that just uses the abstract databases and then kind of does a quick analysis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to do this quick analysis is only with the abstract.
Yeah.
But I think this is important that we have in Citizen Science initiatives like us, also some scientists, that we have access. So but this is only for ESCOM people. So in the future, if someone see this webinar, is watching this webinar and is not part of ESCOM, Sorry, but this is not available for you. It's just for ESCOM people. Robin, Anne, Leon, Stuart, Tina, and if you want to access to some paper and just just have fun, play, just send me an email and say I would like to do my own tree of science with, I don't know. For example, Leon was doing, very good, very nice meteorological observations. So, for example, how many papers have been published with historical meteorological observations? There are 3 words. I can enter these 3 words to Scopus because I have the account. I can download the file, the CSV, and I can send this file to Leon. So Leon can, we're scientists. So Leon now can do his own tree of science. So that, any kind of keyword, just send me an email in Telegram, and I will download the CSV for you.
May I jump in, Camilo?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have heard about this Sci-Hub.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
actually,
quite
because
controversial.
lane question is quite relevant. Sometimes everyone struggle about to, upload a full paper. And so if you want a full paper Sci-Hub, because I think if the paper is published before 2022, you just need to know the title of the paper and put them in the Sci-Hub. You will get the full full paper for this one.
Yeah. No, this night that you mentioned, because now today our webinar is about publications. This is Sci-Hub, and look, which is their motto is that everyone could be a pirate. This is a lot of polemics about Sci-Hub.
Yes.
I don't want to enter on that. You can just before we say Google, just Google that. But now, how do we say it? Just perplexity, Mistral. There are many. But if we go to Sci-Hub, yeah, there are many papers there. But this is something that there is a big conflict between the people like me, and I'm just speaking in first person, that we think that science, and publication all of them should be open access, and the other big group of scientists that say no, it need to be quite exclusive. So Sci-Hub is in the middle of these discussions about should they need to be or not. Lynn.
Yeah, I think you should just do a disclosure
Yeah.
that this is your personal opinion and not ours, since it's
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah, no, that's true, exactly. No, and I think that, as I told you, Sci-Hub, I think there's a lot of polemics, but this is why I'm not using Sci-Hub normally, because if I'm interested in, to have a paper, I go to ResearchGate and looking for the author, just very common last name, Smith. So I'm looking for, I don't know, for Elizabeth Oak Smith. So now because this is like a social network, now I have the contact directly with Elizabeth Oak Smith, and I can send a message to her. So I can ask to her to send me this paper that I'm very interested. But Sci-Hub is is in the middle of the polemic. So this is why I think it's important that that this is not that official database like Scopus, totally different. Eva.
I was curious to Madalika, when you're performing an analysis, what tools are you using normally?
For my analysis, I am using basically the normal Excel file. We make a graph of this one. Apart from this, some visualization tool, I use SiteSpace, sometimes Bosware, to make different kind of co-citation network. And I also use, it just depend what kind of graph visualization I require. I use Orbit there is a one data, software which I usually use to make different kind of visualization. So if you want is some kind of thing, I can suggest whenever you want to draw something visualization, it just depend of the input or the parameter you want to analyze. Accordingly, we can choose the software and sometimes I also use MATLAB to draw my visualization.
Okay.
So a good thing is that our Dalhousie has access of all of these things. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. Any other comment or any other questions? Oh, it's enough about science for tonight. We just need to take a rest, this topic. Okay, perfect. So I will stop recording, just to finish our